You're listening to the Back Porch Talk podcast. Danny and Jason had many discussions and debates on the back porch while making pivotal investment moves with assets. That's right, with trading cards. They welcome you to the back porch and right into those discussions about current sports news with a fresh and unique twist. So come on and join us. Welcome to the Back Porch Talk podcast. I'm your co-host, Jason.
Goes Danny.
Fans, we got a full show for you today. But first, an ode to Lenny Wilkens, who passed away yesterday at the age of 88. Danny, we grew up on Lenny Wilkens more so as a coach, but he's a Hall of Fame inductee as a player and as a coach 2 times. One of those times being as the assistant coach of the 1992 Dream Team USA Olympic basketball team. And Danny, he's just had a successful career through and through, man. And some will remember him as a coach back in the day for the Seattle Supersonics, and where they actually won a championship back in '79. Some will remember him as a coach for the Cleveland Cavaliers, Atlanta Hawks, et cetera, et cetera. Some will remember him as an assistant coach of the, as I mentioned before, the Dream Team. But man, he was just a through and through all around good player. From some of the highlights that I've seen, some of the conversations that I've heard, definitely a hell of a coach. From what I have seen through my own eyes during the time that he coached. But Lenny Wilkens passes away at the age of 88. What say you, Danny?
Yeah, Jay, it was sad to hear, man. He could play, man, and then that transformed into his or transitioned into his coaching career, which he was successful. And he's always been someone, too, that was a positive light on the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
There was nothing, no cloud around him, no trouble. And he seemed like he was somebody that players, went to for mentorship. Sad to see, him pass away, but condolences to his family, and may his legacy live on.
And one of the pieces of legacy is when he retired with 1,332 coaching wins, which at the time was a league record to be surpassed by Don Nelson and then Greg Popovich. He was also 1994 NBA Coach of the Year with the Atlanta Hawks. One of the interviews that I heard was with Bob Pettit, who actually played with Lenny Wilkens when they were the St. Louis Hawks, and then Lenny Wilkens ultimately went over to the likes of I want to say the Seattle Supersonics, but nonetheless, he really tried to get a franchise back into the Seattle area. Back Porch Talk podcast will again like to send our condolences to the family of Lenny Wilkens. Mm-hmm. And now, Danny, on to NFL business and news, and where a whole lot's happened, not only on Sunday, but even on Monday. Let's first talk about the Sunday news, and where the Eagles and Packers play on Monday night, play tonight. And so more information to come on that. But this is going to be a very interesting game, and where Tucker Kraft is out for the season due to an ACL injury, tight end for the Green Bay Packers. So I'm curious as to how the Green Bay Packers offense is really going to flow. Kraft was really coming on. Was in the top 3 of tight ends with regards to passing and receiving yards. So we'll see about that. Another game of note for me was that of, I'll say this, Danny. It was the Steelers against the Chargers. I did watch a little bit of this game, and Aaron Rodgers can still throw the ball. He still has an arm. Now, this wasn't the greatest game by the Steelers at all. And when you go into LA, especially against the Chargers, the crowd is going to be really for the visiting team. Let's just be real. Aaron Rodgers throws two interceptions. He usually has a game in a season where he throws multiple picks, and usually throughout the rest of the season, he's pretty clean. But he threw two interceptions. He went 16 for 31 for 161 yards. Herbert goes 20 for 33 for 220 yards, one touchdown, no picks. This was a pivotal game. The Chargers prevail. This is game number 10 for the Chargers. I believe they go into the bye next weekend. A pivotal game that was won by the Chargers 25-10. And I would say just another game of note here was that of the Rams against the 49ers, where the Rams prevailed 42-26. You got to watch out for the Rams in the NFC, Danny. I think if there's any team that has been consistent in the NFC, has been the likes of the Rams. The Lions are coming on as well. And then the Packers are sprinkled in there. They're a little too inconsistent for my taste. Another big game here was that of the Patriots, 28 points, beating the Buccaneers 23. Pivotal game there. This is going to be interesting to see how things shake out in the AFC. Patriots starting to come on. I mean, people are not talking about them enough. 28-23, they're now 8-2, that being the Patriots. And Danny, Browns versus the Jets, man. This was a game that should have just been thrown away. It should have been thrown away, man. I just I don't get it. I don't get this. I think it's time to see Shedeur Sanders. I mean, Cleveland Browns, you're 2-7. And at this juncture, it's just time to see what Shedeur Sanders has. And maybe it increases his trade value or what have you. You got an opportunity. You're 2-7. And Jess, you're not any better. You're 2-7. And Justin Fields, man, 6 for 11 for only 54 yards. You kidding me? A touchdown and an interception. It's got to be, I don't know, Danny. This feels like any quarterback that comes to the New York Jets is something with the organization. I don't know. It's just something. I mean, you have a Hall of Famer, Aaron Rodgers, coming to y'all. And granted, he got injured. But after the injury, when he came back, I mean, they were just, oh man, I don't know. But every quarterback that seems to goes to the Jets just doesn't do well. And so I don't know if it's time for Justin Fields to go to another team, or is Justin Fields done as a quarterback, as a starting quarterback? Justin Fields ran the ball 7 times for 28 yards. I just don't know. What say you, Danny, about the NFL weekend?
Well, Jason, Atlanta was in Berlin, Germany this yesterday morning and lost to the Indianapolis Colts 31-25, where Jonathan Taylor went off, 244 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns. And the sad part about this game was, Jason, we should have won the game. That's the crazy part. We actually ended up scoring late in the fourth quarter, and Indianapolis got the ball with like a minute 30 left with like a timeout. We had Daniel Jones, I think it was like 3rd and 21, and they let him scramble. The run defense is terrible, and he ended up getting 4th and 2. Indianapolis gets the first down, and then they end up getting field goal position and end up tying the game, where we actually had time left before regulation. Mooney drops the ball. Penix has an intentional grounding, like he has one of those every game. And then we end up losing in overtime. Bijan had 84 yards rushing. Penix did not play well. He was all over the place. London had a good game, over 100 yards receiving, touchdown. But the run defense is atrocious. I mean, it was just like parting parting the sea as Jonathan Taylor was just going through. It was just bad. Like I said, though, they still should have won that game. The defense let them down towards the end, and um, they're now 3-6 because they had a big opportunity because Carolina loses yesterday to the Saints. Tyler Shuck throws 2 touchdowns, uh, and Carolina comes back to earth after upsetting the Green Bay Packers. Tampa Bay, which you mentioned, lost. So it was a big game. If they would have won, they'd have been right in there in the hunt in the NFC South. But now, man, they're 1 game ahead of the Saints. That's saying a lot. So terrible game on their part, man. Didn't feel good about it, but they still should have won that game. Bears come back yesterday after Jackson Dart gets hurt. He goes out of the game with a concussion because he was running all over them boys. And then once he went out the game and Russ Wilson came in, Russ looked like he ain't never played football. I'm like, after that first series, I didn't understand why Daboll didn't take him out and put Jameis Winston in. He just looked like he didn't want to be there. I didn't know what was going on, but he ended up being a demise. And Caleb Williams had some big plays towards the end of that game, and the Bears came back and won 24-20. So big game from Chicago to get that victory. And then Seattle, man, continues to do it, man. They blew out the Cardinals 44-22. And there's a big game, Jason, next week. Couple big games. One is the Seahawks versus the Rams, and the Eagles versus the Lions. And I think that's Sunday night. So a lot of interesting games, man. Bills get upset this week. It was the Texans come back from 19 down in the fourth quarter yesterday behind Davis Mills. Is Trevor Lawrence way overrated or what, man? I don't know, but that's a game you can't lose, especially in the position they're in too in their division. So that was a key loss for them. So an interesting week in NFL football, some blowouts, and then just some interesting losses.
And with that, Danny, next week you also have the Packers against the Giants. To your point about the Giants against the Bears, on some news on today, Daboll gets fired as the New York Giants head coach. This is an interesting move mid-season, but at the same token, Giants, you're 2-8. That means I want to say that they're going to have a bye after the Packers game. So this may be a trap game for the Packers next week, quite honestly. We'll see. But I think it was time for a change in New York, man. I think for both teams, there's got to be a change. The Jets at least made some trades.
Mm-hmm.
Giants stood pat, and now they fired their coach. So I'm curious as to what's going to happen with the Giants moving forward. But again, news is that Daboll is actually fired as the New York Giants coach. What say you, Danny?
And he doesn't get fired if Jackson Dart doesn't get hurt. Because if Jackson Dart doesn't get hurt, I think they win that game going away. He just had command of the offense, and he was dominating the Bears. And they lost all the momentum once he got hurt. Because he was actually, they're on a drive to score when he got hurt, when he fumbled and his head hit the ground. Or at least that's what it looked like on TV. So Brian Daboll has been on borrowed time for a while, man.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised they kept him this year.
Yeah, agreed.
Truth be told.
Agreed.
So for him to make it 10 games, and I think he would have kept going if they would have won yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that decision would have been made if they would have won. Tough to see anybody lose their job, but yeah, I think it was time for him to go, and now we'll see what happens. And who do they start next week is the question against the Packers. Do they start Jameis? Or you start Russ. after what Russ looked like yesterday, they better start Jameis Winston. Just go for it.
They better start Jameis. They better start Jameis, man.
So interesting, Jason. Y'all, the Packers they've had a couple of these trap games, so we'll see how they play after probably a hard-fought game tonight.
Yeah, agreed there. And then he into a little Formula One, and where the Grand Prix in Brazil actually took place, and it just all the way around, man. Lando Norris takes the win. Scored not only in the regular race, but also the sprint race, where he wins that as well, getting some pivotal points to provide a little bit more separation between him and teammate Oscar Piastri. As of right now, man, Lando Norris has 390 points, Piastri with 366, Verstappen with 341. And this is coming down to the wire. 3 more races left. Las Vegas is next, which I am excited for. Always like to see the race in Vegas, especially with the lights and the glamour and this, all the concerts, whatever the case may be, man. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this Las Vegas race. Ferrari does Ferrari. I just feel bad for Charles Leclerc, but I especially feel bad for Sir Lewis Hamilton, and where both cars had to bounce out of the race due to damage to the cars. And this really sucks. This season sucks for Sir Lewis Hamilton. I know this was a year of learning the car, etc., but I don't know, man. It's just something about Ferrari. They got bad mojo. It just, something always seems to happen with Ferrari not making the right decisions during the course of a race, to where it negatively impacts the drivers. I just don't know, but it needs to be some new mojo flowing through Ferrari next year. And so I know there were quote unquote some reports out there about Lewis Hamilton not signing or not being in next year's team. I don't see that not happening, quite honestly. I see Lewis Hamilton being on the team. I'm pretty certain that was some AI reports or something like that out there, but we'll see. But I will say, with the new cars, with the new regulations for Formula One next year, that's going to be interesting to really see. But I see Lewis Hamilton being a member of the Ferrari team. What say you, Danny, about Formula One?
Yeah, Jason, interesting race. Piastri actually had a 10-second penalty in this race, which cost him dearly as far as the standings were concerned. Max Verstappen almost walked down both Mercedes cars at the end. Antonelli held him off.
Yeah.
Oh, man, he was coming in hot.
I came in hot, man.
So, because he caught George Russell, because George Russell and Antonelli had that 2-3, which was, huge from a points perspective for Mercedes. And Verstappen broke that up and almost got second place. So, congratulations to Lando Norris for pulling this one out, man. He needed a good win here going towards the end of the season to kind of bolster that points lead. And Jason, like you said, man, just looking forward to this race next week in Vegas to see, like you said, it's the setup and how they run it, man, at night, and all the lights and everything going on, since it's on U.S. soil. So looking forward to it, and we'll see how that goes.
Thank you for joining us at Back Porch Talk Podcast. You can also join us on Twitter by tweeting us at @back_podcast. For more information, you can go to our website, which is backporchtalkpodcast.com. You can also email us at backporchtalkpodcast@gmail.com. Again, thank you for joining us, and remember that there's enough hate in the world, so go ahead and spread a little love.